Okay, hello. This is gonna be a video, kind of a short Oh, I'm gonna try to make it short, explaining what Union Arena is a little bit. Union Arena is a card game, very new card game. I think it's about maybe two years now. Um, okay, going on 3 years, I think. Because last year made 2 years, and they started releasing English cards last year after having been tested and having kind of got its ways set, in Japan for over a year. So it's 3 years, so it's 2.5 years at this point, right? That it's been out, um, and the English sets. Let's see, there. How many? About maybe eight, nine. Uh, so there's the Bleach set, Bleach, Hunter x Hunter, uh, JJK, Code Geass, Demon Slayer, One Punch Man, Sword Art Online, and Black Clover. Okay, so those are all the ones that have currently dropped in English already. Those aren't including the ones that announced or the ones that we know for coming in the future. Those are all the ones that have currently dropped and are playable right at the moment. You could buy in stores. Those eight. But it is a card game based on anime and adjacent properties because they do have stuff like Tekken and Kamen Rider and Gamera cards and stuff like that. But it's from under Bandai, I think. So a lot of Bandai stuff, affiliated things, but mostly it's anime based cards. The cards are going to be based around anime. So if you are a fan of anime and you are a fan of card games, um, this might be the game for you. I personally think that the card game is fun. I personally enjoy playing it. Only thing is, in my opinion, the artwork is lackluster. Most of the artwork for the cards are like this, which are usually just screenshots from the anime. So most of them are just pictures from the anime. They're not. It's not like Yu-Gi-Oh. It's not basically any other card game because it's like not even the main ones, but any card game that I've seen, even if it's not like really popular, big. The only time artwork is really good on them is for the special cards like this, as you can see. So that is the only disappointing, like really, right now aspect of the card game for me. Majority of the cards don't have their own artwork or just little screen caps. I don't like that. So essentially, there's three types of cards, right? There's three types of like your main playable cards, um, which are your event cards. So they're kind of quick little cards that you play. You play them. You use their ability. Once the ability is done, you put them into your sideline, which I will explain a bit later. Um, but I'll get into it. So you got event cards, all right? You play your event card, boom, you do what the card says, and then it's done. You go. The next type of card we're talking about are sight cards. Sight cards are cards that you play. They stay on your field. Every turn you can use the ability on them, and they are and get rewards every turn. Your last kind of card is character cards. Now the character cards are all of your actual player cards, creature cards, anything that you're going to be using to actually do battle and damage and all of these things. All right. So that's this one. That's Magna right here. Uh, that's Noel right here. All right. So it's between those three: character cards, event cards, and sight cards. Right. Uh, if sight cards stay on the field until you're done with it. Character cards stay on the field until you're done with them, and then event cards you play them, and they're done. You take it away after you've done using it. This card right here, this is how you play. Okay, these are your AP, your action point cards. Action points are how you play any card in the game. This is how you play make any moves. You can't make any moves without any action points, right? So to explain how it works. So I have Magna here. Every card has an energy cost at the top under your action points. So to play Magna, I would need 0 energy and 1 action point. So I would need one of these and then however much energy. And you may wonder, well, where does the energy come from? That right here. Every card has all of these things. This is the energy cost and the AP cost. So this is how you know how much you're gonna need to play it. This is their battle points. This is how much power they have when going against the other cards. And this is how much energy they produce. So there's a front line and an energy line. The front line is your cards that are going to be doing attacking and blocking, and your energy line is if you have a card in the energy line, however much energy they produce is how much you got. So this produces 1 energy. This is how you know how much energy it makes. Noelle here makes she makes 2 energy. So if both of these were in your energy line, you would have 3 energy to use. So any card that has 3 energy and less, all the way to 0, you're able to play as long as you also have the action points necessary. And this needs 1 action point. So 0 energy 1. So these are your most important ones because you can play these soon as you start. They don't have any. You don't need anything in the energy line. You can play that straight to the field. So you have a sideline and a removal. So sideline is where you put, if your card gets KO'd, for example, let's say you block and they had more real quick, you got to kill your card, or they had a card that makes this number go to 0, you just put it to the side. You can still, cards in the sideline can still be used at any point. You may have a card that brings them back from the sideline, stuff like that, puts it back on your field, recycle stuff like that. Now, if it gets removed from play, you can't use that. They're out for right now. I don't think there's any cards that lets you get removed from play cards that brings it back. So if something gets removed from play or you have to remove play, you can't use that no more. So let's go over Noelle. Noelle has 2 energy creation. She makes 2 energy. So if she's in your sideline, she creates 2 energy for you to use. 3,000 battle points. And let's look at her cost. She costs 3 energy and 1. So you would need 3 you would need cards. They make 3 energy in there, and you would need at least 1 action point to play this onto the field. This is kind of what it looks like a little bit. So at the front, you have your front line right here. So you can have something like this and like this. So this is your front line, and this is your energy line in the back. So let's say this was like right here. This was right here. And event cards produce energy too. I would have 2 energy. So I would only have 2 energy to play for my next card. So unless I played another card onto the energy line, I wouldn't be able to play anything that costs more than 2 energies. I'm going to introduce, and this is where your APs go at the back right here. Is right there. Make sure I introduce some more of the mechanics. Almost forgot. So there's also raid cards. So cards that have raid on it. Now, raid cards are special cards because you can play these cards on top of another card to get their raid abilities. Now, when you have a raid card, you have they can, whenever you raiding means that you play the raid card over a required card. So for me to raid with this Asta card, I need another Asta on the field. and then I would put this card on top of Asta to play it. And that's how you get the raid abilities. You can't, if like, you can play them by itself. Like, I can just pay the cost and play it, but if I play it, I don't get the raid abilities. I just get, like, 4,000 card on the field. But if I want to benefit, then I would have a Asta, and then I would play this on top of the Asta to get all of the raid abilities and all the extra abilities that come with it. So that's how raiding works. You have a card, and then you play a raid card on top of it to get all the extra powers. Um, and if your card was in the energy line and you raided on top of it, you have the option. You don't have, it's not mandatory, but you do have the option to put it to the front line. Also, raid cards come out active. You don't have to wait if you raid. Uh, Also, the significance of moving it to the front line is this. There's a 5-turn process. I don't know if it's, you can see it on the side, but there's your starting phase. So that's like your upkeep. That's when your turn starts. Then you draw, of course, you draw your card. Then you have movement phase. The movement phase means, are you going, is where you can move a card from the energy line to the front line. You can't move a card from front line to energy line. You can only move a card from energy line to the front line. Although there's a special ability, which Noel happens to have right here, called Step. Step is the only, unless otherwise said, like on a card or anything, or a step, you cannot move a card from your front line to the energy line during the movement phase unless you have Step. So with Step, I could take Noelle, put her back to the energy line, get that 2 energy. And then, you're allowed to move anything from the energy line to the front line during this time, however, much you want. So I can move that and that if I want, or I could just move this one card. Next is your main phase. Your main phase is the phase where you play whatever your cards with however many action points you got. So if you got cards to play, you play them. That's your main phase. Then there's the attack phase. That's where you declare your attacks and see what happens from there. So the way it works is that you have life. So right here, you draw, like, when you start, you draw 7 cards, then you draw another 7 cards, and then you put those 7 cards right here. And when you attack, you declare a card to attack. And if you pass and you do that damage, your opponent has to flip over the card that they attacked. And once you get down to 0, you win. And you have to go through 7 of their cards to get to victory. Cards also have trigger abilities. So if Noelle was face down in my life area and I flipped her over, she has an ability at the bottom that triggers, and you can use it or you cannot use it depending on whether you have the option. This says choose one of your cards on the field, switch it to active, it gains 3,000. This is a really good defensive trigger to help you stop opponents from continuing attacking if you still have something on the field. Even if something is still active, you can still choose a card. It will get that 3,000. You don't have to switch something and then be like, oh, I don't have nothing to switch to get that. No, it just choose a card. It still gets that 3,000. And then you end your turn. And then it's your opponent's turn. There's a couple special abilities that all cards have. So there's Step, which lets you go back and forth between the energy line and front line at any time. There's Snipe. If you have Snipe, it lets you attack. It lets you attack a card instead of the point. So you can use Snipe to actually attack on an opponent's card specifically and destroy it, instead of worrying about whether they're going to block and stuff like that and ruin your entire process. There's Double Attack, which is in its name. It lets you attack twice. By switching it active and then letting you go again. Double Block lets you block 2 times. If your card survived blocking, it switches it back to active. You can use it to block again. Impact is even if somebody blocks, you still take damage. So somebody can block me all they want. If I blocked and I destroyed their card because I won the battle, you still take 1 damage. Then there's damage 2. If I attack and nobody blocks, instead of taking 1 damage, you take 2. Really good. Nullify impact. Impact brought like I just said, you still take damage even if you block. But nullify impact stops that. So you can block it, not take the damage even if you lose. And then there's impact +1 because you can get more and more ability like pluses on your abilities. So impact +1 I think just gives you impact. If you don't have it, you get impact 1. Oh yeah, you do extra damage. So impact +1 would do the 2, kind of like damage 2. But instead, if it doesn't have impact already, it just gives it impact 1. So those are just some of like the common abilities that are in the game. Uh Union Arena decks are 53 cards. You have to have 53 cards. It's 50 cards between events, sites, and characters, and then you have to have 3 AP cards, action point cards, like this. Let me think of, is there anything else? Sidelines, remove an area, life. I went over triggers. Everything has abilities for the most part. The abilities are kind of self-explanatory on the cards. I'm not really gonna sit here and go over every one. Yeah, I think I got it pretty much covered for the most part. This is kind of how things would look. Got your energy line right here in the back, and then you would have your front line right here, your attackers and defenders, and then you would have your action points in here in the back. If you go first, you can't attack, obviously, and you get 1 action point. The person that goes second starts off with 2 action points, and then on the second turn of the person that went first, then they get a second action point, and then the turn of the person that went second, they still have 2 action points, and then the third turn of the person that went first, they get 3 their third and final action point to use, and then the person that went second gets their third and final action point to use, and then from then on you both are using 3 action points a turn. Although the colors represent something different. So red is usually like aggro, a lot of like really aggro play styles for red. Not that you can't have that kind of stuff in Enter, but like the color, different colors, but primarily certain colors mean like a lot of stuff. So red, usually you're going to be doing a lot of aggro with those color cards and color combinations. But I'm not going to go too much into it because I want to get my information more better when it comes to the color coordinations on Union Arena. Yellow is usually like more control type. Blue, I don't really know how to describe blue to be real. Green, the only way I can describe it right now is like high energy. It's really about gathering energy to play high cost cards with big abilities. Getting a lot of energy, and purple's a lot of like uh purple's a lot of like milling. I would say you mill a lot of cards for like extra benefits and shit for your for ooh, my fault. And stuff for your card and for your deck. So those are like the basics I can think of for like the different play styles. I'd have to get more into it on another time once I learn uh more concise way to explain it. So that yeah, that's a Union Arena explanation video. I'll make another one if I didn't do a good enough job with this one. Um, but this is kind of like a little bit of a basics. I kind of just went off the dome. I didn't really have an organization or a spreadsheet or like a bullet points to go through. I just kind of just did it. If necessary, I'll redo it. And yeah, I'll also make a video about a site to where you can go and play Union Arena, and you can use every card. There's every card in it. You don't have to worry about paying and doing all the opening packs and all that to get. You go in there, you pick the cards you want to use, and then you use them. Really simple, and you can learn how to play the game like that.